Hello there and welcome to my boat shed. My name is Panu and I am building this 50-meter liveaboard cruising sailboat here in winterish Finland. The previous video was just released a couple of days ago and the last week, as mentioned, was really cold and nothing has been happening here, but just because of that I couldn't just be here and no glue ups or anything like that can happen. Now it's slightly warmer, it's now down to -7 I think, which is much more bearable. Actually that looks -4 because in here in the tent it's actually always a couple of degrees warmer than outside in winter, even though there's no heating or anything except for my office there. So yeah, it's bearable here with decent clothes. And the next things for the boat are really to glue up the rest of the stuff in and then start figuring out the planking. But I thought that there might be something I can do, for example, shaping the stem for accepting the planking, maybe shaping a little bit here, starting to shape the actual frames to their final shape with some just mechanical working in there and stuff like that, maybe shaping those ballast keel timber surroundings. So basically starting to shape the frames and everything to accept the planking. That should be thing I can start a little bit to do. But there is also another project that I have mentioned to my patrons earlier, and that is to build a kitchen to our current apartment. Yeah, it's here. It's this pile of plywood that has been laying here for weeks and weeks already, and I have done some drawers here already. They're not glued together yet, but they're starting to come in shape. And today, when it's -4, -6 or something like that, it might be okay me to work with this. So a little bit of an off topic maybe, but I think I'm gonna do eventually the cabinetry into the boat with technique, something like this from just plywood. We'll see about that, but this has been ongoing so long now, and I just need to get rid of this pile in here, so I think I'm gonna spend this afternoon here doing this. I'm not gonna bother any details of this, but I'll put some time-lapse on so you can see what's happening with this. It should be pretty straightforward. One thing about this. So that one thing I wanted to test with this kitchen project was to use things like this. So this is a Wolfcraft doweling jig tool. It's a kind of straight edge with some things in here and these holes in here where you can use these kind of just wooden drill bits with some stoppers, and you basically just drill through this hole, and when this is clamped in the right spot you can get uniformly separated double holes to your furniture or whatever you're doing. So this is great. There was a little bit of learning curve, kind of figuring out what's the logic in that, but when you figure that out, it makes it so much faster. So all those drawers that are finished are made with this, and now I'm continuing with the rest of the drawers by doing those double joints. So yeah, that's that. There is also another kind of jig here. This is also Wolfcraft jig, and there is separate holes for different size of drill bits. So the 8mm drill bit goes through there. Yeah. So with these things you can kind of align maybe a little bit smaller things. But that is just great because you can just easily kind of move these stoppers and always get a good joint. So that's that. Now I just put some music or book in my headphones, which you can buy and support my project. These are Finnish design and very good quality and pretty affordable noise cancelling headphones. I've been using these for a long time here in the shed, and they work just flawlessly. Disclaimer is that they don't stand acetone very well, so there's some paint or some kind of surface damage there because of acetone. Well, that was Epoxy's fault, of course. So yeah, let me now just spend my day here, and we'll continue with the boat in just a moment. Alright, that day was way too cold to do kind of fiddly small job like this. Although I installed this infrared heater here, it warms up the perimeter a little bit. So yeah, it helps a little, but not too much. But now I have a couple of more layers underneath here, so I think I'll be good, at least for a while. So I'm gonna continue a little bit by making these drawers for our kitchen. I'll continue this today, and maybe later this week I will start fiddling with those, kind of starting to clean up this thing over here. We'll see about that, but now I'll just continue with this. Alright, it's now at least 2 weeks later after I did the last bit of this video. I got some drawers made for the kitchen, but after that it has been quite cold. It's now down to -15, and tonight it should be kind of -24 or something like that. So the nights are super cold right now, although it is a gorgeous day outside. Sun is shining. It's starting to warm up a little bit, but we are up north, so north up here, so that the sun is shining so low that it really doesn't do any major difference. So yeah, when it's clear skies like these, the nights are super cold. So that means that nothing much has been happening here. Last week our second car broke down and I couldn't come here. And yeah, it has been weeks since I even visited this place. But yeah, today I kind of tried to do something. I'm thinking I could maybe start to figuring out this shape of those oak pieces that go overlap with the frames. I could grab my planer and do some physical work. That's the only thing that I can do in here in these temperatures. Anything kind of small fiddling, it's just not possible. It gets too cold very fast. And if I don't manage to do that, we can go and check out a little bit of the plans I have been kind of doing for the next stages. It's nothing really current thing, but I have been thinking of that and going forward with the plans a little bit after we flip the boat. Yeah, now I'm gonna try to use the heater again to get a little bit of a heat here. You might remember I had trouble getting the exhaust out, but I think in these weather conditions that could work, because if there's any kind of airflow from that direction where the pipe goes through the wall, it kind of pushes the exhaust back. But now it's almost completely calm outside, so maybe I could try to use it and raise the temperatures just a little bit. It's not enough to kind of heat this place, but kind of raise the temperatures a little bit. It's minus 15 in here right now, so maybe minus 8 would be great. So yeah, let's do that and try to do that a little bit. All right, sorry about the noise. The heater keeps a little bit of a noise here, but yeah, it heats up actually surprisingly well. It's now only minus 6 in here. It's all right with decent clothing and a couple of layers underneath here, and yeah, only the behind gets a little bit cold when you sit up there. But now I started to shape the oak surroundings here. It's a little bit tricky because the planer doesn't get right next to the foil shape in here, so I need to use the multi-tool to cut these off. But yeah, I think it turns out okay. And the idea, of course, is to shape this surrounding to match the framing. So but the planking will go in here, and it should kind of meet this part in here. So we need to get all this off from here and here on the front as well. A little bit slow, but it's going nicely. I just need to change the blade here. I think it's just a little bit dull. But yeah, the oak is really nice to work with. It cuts easily and planes easily. And the heater is working nicely right now, so that's good news as well. I had a little bit of a problem with the drought. What's the word? The chimney gets the draft. Anyway, I had a little bit of trouble with that because there is this quite long horizontal section in the chimney. But yeah, now it works nicely, and it makes being here a little bit more bearable. All right, I'll continue with that a little bit, and then I think I'll turn my attention into this kitchen again, because I would like to get this over with as fast as possible. I've been a little bit of lazy with this, but yeah, these are the drawers. Most of them here, there's still a little bit of a pile waiting. Here I need to cut the grooves for the bottom. So this groove right here, I need to cut that to all of those and go from there. This is just waiting for the next parts. I couldn't find all the parts last time. Then I need to go through that pile. There's a few pieces lying somewhere underneath there to make the rest of the drawers. But I'm happy to get something done with quite a long break. It's really, I have lost really most of the motivation last weeks, and the cold just, with all the stress, you just don't want to go outside and bear with the cold at all. So that's kind of a annoying thing. And I also want to try to get this video done today, so I'm not over a week late from the normal schedules of 2 weeks. So yeah, let's see. Alright, I now got all the rest of the pieces for the drawers done, so the slots for the bottom are cut for all of the rest of the drawers, so that's great. Now I can continue by making these double joints for the rest of them, and then the drawers should be finished. Kind of finished. They still need to be glued together and the surface prep and stuff like that, but I doubt I can do it here because it's so cold. I need to take these home and do it there. But anyway, the woodworking for this is almost done. But now the time is 5:30. Sun set a couple of hours ago and it's starting to get colder. It's really beautiful outside and pretty cold. The night is gonna be super cold, so there's not enough power in that to keep this place warm. The temperature is dropping all the time, so I think I'm gonna turn that off now and get into the office again, and we'll finish this video by taking a look what I have planned for the next steps for the boat after the planking. So we'll see about that, but yeah, let's turn that off now. Now it's humming for a while to cool it down a little bit. One thing to mention about the heating of this place, that uses diesel. It's 20 kilowatts of power with that. That small electric heater is, I think that's 5 kilowatts. Yeah, the 20 kilowatt is not enough to heat this place. And the diesel is actually more expensive than electricity. So yeah, there's no kind of reason or sense to try to heat this place when it's really cold like this. Now I just wanted to do something here. And there's not enough power in the lines to heat with 20 kilowatts all the time either. So yeah, but let's now go in and check out the plans a little bit. Right, sorry about the mess here, but here we have the plans, and this is now the plan for the next stage after the boat has been planked. So obviously the hull is missing here, but you can see that there's additional frames here, these purple things. And as I have mentioned many times before, this boat will have 2 freestanding masts, and that's why there's going to be quite substantial structures around the masts here in the front and there on the middle. So these 3 frames really hold the mast up. So the mast step is already in the boat, and this top piece should be there. There's 3 frames and some additional structures between the frames here. So this thing will support the mast. Middle is the same thing. And what these frames actually are, they are laminated frames, same structure basically, what the actual frames are, but I've been kind of thinking making them maybe a little bit differently. We'll see about that. There is the shape on the outside as well with the actual frames, the hull frames, so they will form the shape of the deck house. And from the inside there should be knees. So these knees will connect the frames all around here to make the ring-shaped frame all around there. And the same thing here in the middle. And then there is additional frames here. I'm not completely sure about these. The plans for the boat, they show that there should be these frames. Maybe I could make them. It's not that big of a deal. They are pretty simple, I think. One thing that is still under kind of design is what happens here in the stern, because there's going to be this big cockpit area, benches, all kinds of things happening here, and there's not really way to make frames like that here in the stern area. So we might need to do some additional structure things there maybe. And there's these cockpit benches and stuff. They need to be kind of pretty sturdy in a way. We'll see about that. But these frames here, they are the thing to be made. And yeah, they should be pretty simple, and these could be made right when I have time and energy and effort to do those. But one thing we need for these is the table that we have disassembled for a while ago. So that needs to be assembled again to fit these frames in. Unfortunately, these are so big that we need the whole table, not just part of that table. But yeah, we'll see if we do that with the same method. There might be possibility to do them in sections, kind of making these laminated knee type of things here, and then just make these parts individually and then glue them in from pieces. But we'll see. Those are probably the first things to put in the boat when we flip the boat over, because I started to think of the process in the future and this winter thing, because this is slowing things down so much. It would be absolutely great to get the boat kind of closed in before next winter. And that means that we must be able to do these frames and do the deck house, at least in some form, the deck house over this at some point, to be able to heat the interior when we start making things inside there, maybe next winter. So we'll see, but there's still plenty of things to do. The planking is still waiting, and I really want to have the planking done very kind of industrial manner. So just ready to go stock. All things should be prepared. There should be finger joints, no kind of any fiddling with that. Just take part, spread glue, put it in, and that's it. So that's the kind of the objective with the planking. So make it as efficiently as possible. But we'll see. There's big job in that. I probably don't know how big of a job that is just yet, but we'll see when it starts. But now the forecast for the weather looks like it's gonna be really cold next week at least, where the normal forecast goes. But there's no kind of warmer weather in sight for at least a couple of weeks. So yeah, maybe I can kind of try to do prep work for everything that doesn't involve any gluing. Maybe start preparing the deck beams and all the woodwork, kind of planing things. And yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. That makes this channel Arctic, I think. But in this note, I think I'll end this video right here. I have no idea what's going to happen in next one. Maybe we continue with fiddling those ballast keel timbers, shaping things, making that kitchen, whatever. I hope you enjoyed this little bit different and weird video, and in the next one we'll continue doing something here and hoping the weather to warm up quickly after the winter period to be able to start gluing things in again. And thank you so much for my patrons, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, I hope. Bye bye.